Hi everyone, I'm Emma, and the topic that I'm going to be talking about is how traditionalism has changed throughout the years, and the three reasons why I think that has been a thing and how much it's changed through the years are: the first one is because Gen X, which is our parents' generation, or like baby boomers as they call them, like had to adapt to a lot like technology and like new like creations that we now use in everyday life that they had to start to use because obviously they weren't like used to like Macs or like Apple TV. Like they were just like used like for their free time they just like sat by the radio and like read books. But like for our free time it's completely different. We're usually like scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. So like that's a big thing that they had to adapt to in their lifetime that we haven't had to like as much. Another thing that is like different between the generations is Gen Z has had to like deal, our generation has had to deal with social media and how that's affected us. I think social media is a good thing and a horrible thing at the same time. It's great because you can like connect to people easier, and it's just like you have more opportunities that come with it. But a downside is how negative and toxic it can be, especially like to your self-esteem, because girls, at least for like my friends and a lot of girls I know, you like compare yourself to all the girls that like, let's just, for example, that the guys see like all the models, all the girls want to be like that and look like that, which I'm guilty of doing too. Like I'd love to look like that, but I don't. But that's had a lot of damage on our mental health because there is that aspect of like comparing, and obviously that's not good because you're like, I want to be her or whatever. But Gen X didn't have to deal with that because they didn't have phones, they didn't have Instagram or Snapchat to see what other people were doing without them or how they looked, or they just thought themselves was beautiful and they didn't have anyone else to like tell them otherwise. I have a quote from Tracy Hansen. She's a therapist, and it says, they're comparing themselves, which there is us, Gen Z. They're comparing themselves whether they admit it or not, which is true. I don't think a girl or a guy would openly say like, yeah, I'm comparing myself. That's just like not something we'd say, which I think is true. Like, it's not something we say, but it's like a big aspect of social media. Like everyone like has a problem with it. They just like get jealous of everything, and it's just a false like stereotype to how our life should be. And then it says their self-esteem is affected by electronics and allow kids to have avoidance so that like they don't have uncomfortable situations, which is true. Like let's just say like you don't like someone or y'all are having issues, like as a friend you say it through the phone most likely to avoid the conflict, just so like there's not a fight, and it's just you can say more through your phone and not be scared by it because you are hidden behind your phone, which our parents didn't have to deal with because they didn't have Snapchat or like text or FaceTime to deal with that. They had to do it in person, which is very uncomfortable, but it's you get the job done faster and it's more civil, and there's like it just goes easier. But with us, there's more drama. Everyone gets involved in each other's business. It's just this big toxic environment. Another thing that's completely different through generations, which is a topic I've talked about before, is mental health. Baby boomers didn't really have mental health, even though it like was a thing back then. But our generation now, it's a big issue, like very big. But there is a statistic that says 2 in 3 baby boomers have dealt with depression like in recent years, but will not admit it because like that's not how they were like raised. That's not like something their parents believed in, and that like depression wasn't a real thing and you were just like in a sad spell or like a blue day, which is like you're sad for a couple days but then you get over it. But they never admit it because they were raised, it was a cry for help. But us, it's like a serious issue. There's people like hurting themselves, killing themselves over it. And that's like a big difference because parents are now starting to realize it's an issue. Another issue topic is that we, like baby boomers, think everything is handed to us in the professional aspect. They think it's easier for us when it's not. They were more work labor, and ours is more technological. And it's just easier to like find resources and get all that stuff done. So that's another reason that generations are completely different. But I think 2020 has been a big eye-opener for all of us, and that we can all come together if we just open our ears. And I think we're both getting to that point, and it can just become a more civil world. Thank you.